I know. Setting goals can be overwhelming. And if you don't have your whole entire year perfectly mapped out yet, you are certainly not alone. If you're interested in setting goals with a clear path to success that you can realistically achieve, you're in the right place. Today, we're talking all things goal setting for the new year in your influencer business. We'll be covering a goal setting method I think you're really going to love, 4 key areas of goals that I think all influencers should set, and goal pacing, specifically why I'm a fan of breaking up your goals quarterly. I've been setting goals for myself as a creator for several years now, and setting goals has been incredibly helpful for growing my online presence and staying organized, especially since I went full-time with content creation in 2021. First up today, I want to talk about the SMART criteria for setting goals. You may have heard this acronym before, but here is the origin of where SMART goals actually came from. They were first outlined by consultant George T. Dorian in 1981. He wrote this paper published in Management Review called "There's a Smart Way to Write Management's Goals and Objectives." So let's break down this SMART acronym. The S stands for specific. So this is where you will really zone in on a particular area of your business. If a goal is super broad, it might be less likely to actually come to fruition. The M stands for measurable. So we're talking about goals where you can actually see how much progress you made and really take a look at your specific results. The A stands for attainable. And for those who subscribe to delusional girl syndrome, stay with me here because there is always room to dream big. But when it comes to setting goals for our business, we're hoping to set goals that we can actually accomplish. So that is why the A is really important. The R stands for realistic. And to me, the A and the R are pretty closely related. But when I think more about realistic, to me, I interpret that more as thinking about, do I actually have the resources or money or whatever it is to actually see this goal through or make it happen? Because something could be attainable, like in theory, you could do it, but the R means, is it actually realistically going to happen? And I think that's a critical difference. And the T stands for time bound. And I know this is always kind of the hardest part of goal setting, to accomplish a goal within a specific time frame, but setting a time that you want to accomplish a goal and adding that element of urgency to getting it done will definitely help you achieve your goals faster. So to recap, that is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound, SMART goals. I'll give you 2 examples of SMART goals that I set in my business in 2023 that I think will help illustrate all of these components that we're talking about. So one goal that I had last year was to host 3 live webinars in February and sign up a total of 300 registrants to those webinars. So that goal, as you can see, is specific. It was all about a webinar that I wanted to create for my business. It was measurable. If I got 300 people to register for the webinar, then I would hit my goal. It is attainable because I, with the size of my audience, think I could get 300 people to sign up for a free webinar. It was realistic because I had the capabilities to produce the webinar, to purchase the software that I needed for it, and the time to create it. And it was time bound because I was only offering the webinars during the month of February. So I had already created the webinar content ahead of time, of course, but to actually see those webinars through in February is the time portion of that goal. Another business goal of mine from 2023 was to post every single day on TikTok in the month of April. So that, again, the month of April, post every day, specific platform. It has all of those elements of a SMART goal. By posting something new to TikTok every day, I was able to kind of analyze the top performing content from that little content sprint, is what I called it, and apply that to future videos, which is especially helpful if you are looking for content ideas to refer to your best performing recent content. Also, if you're looking for more tips on content planning and content ideas, I do cover that inside of my free guide, the Influencer Launchpad. The start of the year is a great time to download that free guide and just get reset and in a good place for how you're going to approach your content in the new year. And you can grab that from the link down below in the description box. Now, when it comes to goals for your business, let's talk about 4 key areas that I think influencers should be setting goals within. So first up, I suggest all influencers pick a creative goal for the year. And this is a goal that is really set to fuel your creativity, because that is a super important part of content creation, maybe even more so than the numbers and the other goals that you might be thinking about. Having something to spark your creativity, to keep you feeling creative, and to keep coming up with new ideas and things to produce content for is really important. One example of a creative goal could be, I would love to do 1 collaborative photo shoot with other content creators each month. That's a great way to not only network and collaborate with other creators, but to also have time on your calendar where each month you have a photo shoot scheduled where you're going to be working with someone else to come up with an idea. The next area I think influencers should aim to set a goal in is a quality goal. Basically, thinking about any goal that you can set to help improve the overall quality of the work that you produce. So this could be a number of different things. Maybe you have really been wanting to level up your photography or learn how to shoot on a film camera. That can be a goal of yours for the year. Also, if there's an area of your business that you wish the quality could improve in, but you just feel like you don't have the skills or the time to make it happen on your own, you could consider outsourcing and making that a goal for the year. Actually, one of my goals for Q1 of 2024 or 2023, sorry, like what year is it? Was to hire a video editor, which I did. And now you can all enjoy high quality videos here on my YouTube channel, because that is something that I was able to outsource to someone who is much more of an expert at these things than I personally am. The third category that I think influencers should set goals in is to come up with some growth goals. And growth goals I know are kind of tricky, because you never know what kind of mood the Instagram algorithm is going to be in one day, or when you feel like your content will stop being shown to people. But I do think setting growth goals gives you something to work towards and gives you an idea of what maybe other things you could come up with to help you achieve your growth goals. If you don't want to set a goal like reach 25,000 followers on Instagram, if you feel like that is not really measurable or not as, attainable or realistic as a goal maybe should be, if we're using the SMART goal framework, think about something else that could help your growth. Maybe your growth goal for the year is, I would love to pitch myself to 20 podcasts to get myself out there and grow my reach. That's something that you could definitely do, that has a number that you can hit. And even if you're not personally growing your social media channels, you're still, really marketing yourself, getting your name out there and creating more brand awareness, which is a form of growth. And last but not least, of course, I think influencers should be setting revenue goals. So even if you are not yet currently monetizing your content, which I kind of feel like there's not a lot of ways that can happen in 2024, because you can easily opt into lots of different monetization methods nowadays, which is great. But even if you are new to monetizing your content, or you've been making money from content for a few years now, think about what you'd like to do in terms of your revenue for the year. Maybe a goal of yours is to grow your revenue by 10% from last year. Or maybe your revenue goal for the year is to launch a new income stream. Maybe you want to launch a membership or a podcast or something that you haven't gotten a chance to do yet. So definitely think about some revenue goals, because 2024 is the year that we're all gonna get our bag, okay? So again, those 4 areas are creative goals, quality goals, growth goals, and revenue goals. Aim to get at least one of each of those on your goal list for the new year. I also really wanted to make sure to touch on what I think the benefits of setting quarterly goals are in this video, because setting quarterly goals has been kind of a game changer for me as a content creator. I never ever used to think of it like this, and by breaking goals up into quarters, it just really helps me kind of have both a big picture but also a narrow focus at the same time, and it's just helped me so much in terms of actually focusing in on certain projects and getting goals across the finish line. It helps me break down my overall goals for the year into more manageable pieces. But if I happen to have a crazy month for one reason or another, maybe I don't know, I just wanted to take a lot of time off. I guess that's not having a crazy month, but well, actually that would be pretty crazy for me to just go silent for a whole month. So maybe you're having a crazy month where you just really decide to take a ton of time off, or maybe you suddenly have a million inquiries from brands and you aren't able to launch the podcast you wanted to launch right away. So whatever the case is, quarterly, I really do find helps me break up those yearly goals, but it's a little more time than a month should you have a crazy month or should something go wrong, for you to still have time to get that goal accomplished. So I went back into my Notion from 2023 and I just wanted to walk you through an example of how I split up a quarterly goal in my business in the first quarter of the year. And I was able to go in to my Notion templates and actually see for each month and even each week and down to the day exactly what I was working on, but I won't go too granular here. I'll give you the top level overview. One of the goals that I had for Q1 of 2023 was to launch my digital course, the Influencer Income Accelerator, which, spoiler alert, I did that. Here is how I was able to split that quarterly goal up by month. So in January, I focused on creating the slides for the course, and I also marketed the course on my blog, here on YouTube, and in my email newsletter. And some of the marketing was more blatant and direct marketing, and some of the marketing was kind of just publishing helpful related content to the topic of the course that I wanted people to watch to kind of start to plant the seeds of why they might be interested in actually signing up for the course. In February, I finished actually recording the course content, and I opened my cart to my new students and got them all onboarded. And then in mid-February is when I actually started dripping the course content, as in, like, on the first week of the course, I would release module 1. The next week of the course, I would release module 2, and so on and so forth. So it was a live course where each week you would get a new module, and each week we would have a Q&A session to discuss what was in that module. And then in March, I was really prioritizing those Q&A sessions that I talked about, also student support, like answering emails or solving any tech issues that they may have had. As the course wrapped, because it ran from mid-February through mid-March, I was starting to create feedback forms to make sure that I could ask students what they liked about the course, what they, did they have a favorite lesson? Was there a lesson that they felt was redundant or that they didn't need? And I really wanted to make sure I got those feedback forms in right after everyone took the course, so it was fresh in their mind, so that I could use those feedback forms to make updates, which is exactly what I've done. So that's an example of how I was able to split up a goal for the quarter by month and make sure that I was never doing too much on any one day or one week, and I gave myself enough time to get everything accomplished. I do recommend choosing 3 main goals for the quarter, just so you have some different projects to rotate between. And again, maybe you have a mix of that was kind of a creative goal to like produce the course and actually get it launched, but maybe I also wanted to have a growth goal in there along the lines of like pitching myself for a podcast or something else to help me grow my brand while I was launching the course. And then in terms of the monthly split, you may find that having one goal where you do a little bit of it each month, like I did with the course, is helpful. Or you might set 3 goals for the quarter and decide that you want to go about it monthly and focus on one goal in January, one goal in February, and one goal in March. I think you'll have a pretty good idea just based on your gut reaction of which one of those sounds more appealing to you, but let me know what type of creator you are in the comments. Also, one hugely important thing that I do want to call out is when it comes to goals, I like my goals to kind of drive most of what I do for the year. Like most of what I'm spending my time working on, most of the actions I take, I do want to be in support of the goals I have for the year, so that then at the end of the year, I get to look back and say, look at all the things that I did. However, when you look at your work week, I would strongly suggest spending no more than 75% of the time you have to dedicate to content creation each week on your goals, and make sure that you leave 25% of that time that you're able to dedicate towards content creation for any of the day-to-day just essential admin tasks and things that you need to do to keep your business up and running. This might include things like answering emails and replying to DMs, or attending events and networking, or even just maintaining your weekly content posting schedule. All of those things are essential to you being a content creator. They're those day-to-day things that will inevitably pop up that you can't avoid. So you want to make sure that you are leaving time to address those things, to dedicate towards those things, and that you're not 100% focused on the goals. I know that might sound a little silly, but trust me from experience, when you don't leave time for those things, you will start to immediately feel overwhelmed and feel like you're not going to get everything done. So for me, as a full-time content creator, maybe that means one afternoon or one morning a week is really the amount of time spent towards those admin tasks. If you're not a full-time content creator and you only have 10 hours a week to dedicate towards content creation, maybe you have another job, maybe you are a parent, maybe you are just super busy and content creation really is your side hustle. If you have those 10 hours in a week, think about having 2 of them kind of just open to, like I said, address all of these admin tasks, and spend the other 8 hours a week that you do have towards building your more long-term goals. I would absolutely love to hear what everyone is working on for 2024. So if you have a 2024 goal, please do leave it in the comments. I would be really interested to see what everyone is working on and prioritizing this year. And I hope this video gave you some clarity in terms of how to distribute your goals and how to set goals that you can actually accomplish. Don't forget to download my free guide, The Influencer Launchpad. This is such a good one to review at the start of the year. If you haven't had a look at it already, that is linked down below in the description box as always. And if you're looking for more tips on project management and staying organized as a content creator, especially for things like brand deals or client projects that you encounter, be sure to check out the up next recommendation on the screen. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.